His heart couldn't take it. The fighting got worse, and he thought it a miracle that he didn't drop dead when she slammed the front door on her way out. His heavy, heaving chest still felt tight, and he was still hearing his thick pulse in his head when their little daughter ran up to him with her bedsheet. "Ghosts!" she demanded cheerily, oblivious, so he hoped, to her parents' problems. How could he say no to those big green eyes, the little mole over her eyebrow? He took a few deep breaths before grabbing the sheet with a numb arm. He wiped the sweat from his brow with it before donning his costume. Little Olivia squealed with delight as he chased her through the modest house. He could barely see through the white sheet. It was late, and he depended on the lamps and ceiling lights to guide him along. He could see vague outlines of the furniture and of Olivia running, and he felt his anger and frustration with his wife melt away as time went on. And time did go on. Olivia was a tireless child, and the 320 pounds on her father's 6-foot frame weren't often able to keep up. But tonight, somehow, her father was able to. He smiled under his sheet as they ran laps around the house, screaming in mock fright and genuine happiness. All was pure joy, until he bumped into something in the living room. Strange, what could that have been? He shrugged it off and followed Olivia's calls, now coming from the other side of the house. One of the lamps near the dining area turned off, and he ran into something else. Another light turned on where there was none. He heard Olivia scream, a muffled scream, and what sounded like his wife yelling. When did she get back? The house was a blur of incandescent lights beyond his sheet, and he went to rip it off himself to see what was going on. He pulled it forward, but the sheet did not come off. Rather, it looped around him endlessly like a treadmill as he attempted to free himself. Frustration quickly turned to terror as his efforts became frantic. He stumbled through the house, knocking over this and that as he struggled. He heard more screams, not of joy now. Eventually he gave up and leaned up against a wall. He noticed another new light in the house. He caught his breath before approaching. Through the sheet, the light looked to be a glowing hula hoop on the floor. Perplexed, he stood inside the circle and immediately became stuck in place. He looked down in shock to see he was standing not in a hula hoop, but a ring of candles, and he stood in place with no legs or feet. He turned his gaze forward again, and the white veil disintegrated before his sight. He was in the living room, but it was different now. New furniture, different lights. He saw the things he had bumped into, and saw all of the books and pictures and other items he had knocked over in his desperation. And there was someone there. A woman, about his age, with a little mole over her eyebrow, stood in front of him with tears in her big green eyes. And he understood. His heart couldn't take it.